And this television production has been brought to you by Top Rank in association with Video Techniques. And here in Dublin, of course, Muhammad Ali has captured the town, as always, walking around rather like a Pied Piper. And we'd like you to have a look at Dublin, and who better to tell you than the man himself, Muhammad Ali.
Here I am in Ireland, where every visitor gets 1,000 welcomes. They even gave me the Irish shillelagh to help me win my fight, but I don't need it. They told me that this was the Emerald Isle. Believe me, they're right. I've never seen such a green country in all my life, not even Kentucky. The Irish people, I have found, are very proud of their ancient history and culture, just like I am. And they preserve a lot of their old customs. They have kept up ancient skills here that have disappeared in most nations and countries. One thing especially about the Irish people, they kept boasting to me about how good they were at making whiskey, of all things. They say that their whiskey takes a long, long time to make. But the funny thing is, it don't take long to drink. Whiskey is such a big thing here in Ireland that they even go as far as to call it the water of life. That's crazy. Ireland is also famous for its horses. And the Irish people are crazy about all kinds of sports. That's why I'm the greatest also here in Ireland. They even have their own special games called Irish football and Irish hurling. They look pretty rough to me, these football and hurling players. I think I'll stick to boxing. I've been training for my fight, so I didn't get to see all of the beautiful country of Ireland this time. But I promise you, as soon as I destroy ugly Joe Frazier, I'm coming back to Ireland, but with my family, and I'm going to have a real rest and a true holiday.
Heavyweight contest over 12 3-minute rounds between, in the red corner, from Detroit, Michigan, Al Blue Lewis.
£223.
At the weigh-in this morning, Blue Lewis weighed 223.5 pounds, or 15 stone, 13.5 pounds.
Well, that's the British way of weighing it. 15 stones, 13.5.
The former heavyweight champion of the world, from Louisville, Kentucky, Muhammad Ali.
And there's Muhammad doing the traditional prayer, although some of us here call it his dignity bit. He's refusing to turn round. He looks as though he doesn't want to look at Al Lewis.
Or 15 stone, 7.5 pounds. The referee, Lou Eston.
So now we'll down to the real stuff now at the start of the opening round. Muhammad Ali, Al Blue Lewis, and the referee is Lou Eskin, who's editor of Boxing Illustrated and also moonlights as a fireman in New Jersey. So he'll be able to extricate Lewis with professional care if he gets hurt. They're wearing 8-ounce gloves. There was some discussion of wearing a 6-ounce glove. They're bright red. I must say it's a great clash to these black bodies of these two very big heavyweights. And there's Eskin now, first time that he's refereed this side of the pond, and the scoring system is a 10 points must, and there will be no mandatory 8 counts, and neither fighter can be saved by the bell. If it's in the middle of a count and the bell goes, he will be stopped and taken back to the corner. And they're just checking now there's not too much grease, the referee, on Al Blue Lewis's face. And I think you've got to look at the height of Lewis there. He's about an inch taller, it would seem to me, than Muhammad Ali. So all set then for the big event here in Croke Park, Dublin. So we're wondering now whether this head cold that Muhammad Ali has been suffering, the Ali snuffle, is now going to be turned into the Ali Shuffle. And we think that for the opening round, that Blue Lewis is really going to be a dangerous hitter. He once dented Muhammad Ali's ribs in training, and that was for real in Miami a couple of years ago, and got the sack for doing it. So once again, Muhammad Ali at his dancing weight, as he calls it, 217, just a pound heavier than he weighed for Jerry Quarry. And 223 and a half, Al Lewis. That's 13 stones, 13 pounds and a half in British scale. Now Lewis knows he has to get right on top of Ali, and he's a rough customer, and there's a lot of excitement in Lewis's corner to encourage him. Well, it looks as though Ali's teeing off fairly early. He just tried a left hand for size there and a left hook. I think that'll be the pattern here from Ali, trying to keep Lewis at bay. This fellow has a long reach. And he's got to flick this left hand out there like a snake's tongue just to keep Lewis at bay. I think that Ali's showing a bit of respect anyway for Lewis, because he's coming at him and Ali has to open up to try and stop him in his tracks. There must be just a slight fear in Ali's heart that this fellow can bang a bit. It's a very small ring, not more than about 16 feet, an amateur ring. So there's no place to hide, and that's for sure. It looks as though Lewis can reach him with that left hand as well there. Well, I think that's as many punches as I've seen Ali take in an opening round anyway, as we thought that the opening rounds are going to be the danger spots for Muhammad. There's no fooling around tonight. These punches are really going at full strength. And that very weak bell at the end of the first round there on punches landed. Obviously Ali stole that one on the 10 points must system. But I must say there was no fooling around from Lewis. He was getting stuck in very early, and I thought that Ali showed him a great deal of respect. And coming in the ring, who will obviously get a lot of whistles, is a young lady from Dublin.
George McGovern has a round card, Reg. I think Harold Conrad must be a Democrat.
Well, what do you know about that? And it's Virginia-born Betty McDermott, who works in a hotel here in Dublin. Well, I hope for the crowd's sake that she stays around a while. So Al Lewis there, having the gloves just pulled tighter on there by Luther Burgess, former fighter. When he was 19, he fought Willie Pep. Now, this fellow looks a very calm and collected customer.
One thing's for sure, Reggie. He didn't come in there intimidated by Ali, just as so many of Ali's opponents do.
Well, this seems an extraordinary rest period to me. It seemed far more than a minute. I think they had to wait for the young lady to get out of the ring. So, round two, and right away Lewis is off the mark with a left hook there that landed. Ali was just pulling his head back a bit, but he didn't get away completely. I'm wondering now whether Ali's changing tactics a bit by ducking down and trying to come inside that left jab. Ali teed off pretty good with the left hook there. And he looks as though he definitely has, if not respect, perhaps even a bit of fear that Lewis might come at him a bit dangerously, and he's trying to take him out quick. There's no fooling around at all from Ali. There's no doubt that this fellow carries a bit of a whack in either hand, and I think it would suit Ali. And Eskin now warning Ali to keep his punches up. I haven't seen that before in a fight with this former champion. I've never seen him land a low blow before, and I've covered most of them in America, and of course all of them in Europe. Well, that's one right out of the book. And this is a very heavily padded ring, which is maybe one of the reasons why the dancing feet are not in evidence. Now, what's he trying to do? Who's he trying to kid here, Ali? Is he trying to set Lewis up for the punch? Because he's certainly asking for trouble there, backing him off to a corner, doing nothing. Again, that left flick to the body. And if Lewis tees off with a right-hand counter, he could be in trouble. And he almost walked into that right-hand shot by dropping his hands there. I think he's got to pile up these left hands the whole time to take some of the steam out of Lewis and try and make him use those legs and tire him out very quickly. It looks like Lewis takes a good shot. 30 fights and lost only 4 of them. And the corner from Lewis is saying, fire, let punches go, will you? But he's not doing enough, Lewis.
I think part of the problem, Reg, is that Lou Lewis is a big man.
Yeah, I see the referee had to wait for that young lady to get out of the ring there. She's have to get out. They don't have a 10-second buzzer here as you have in America. So, to recap then, round 3, in case you've just joined us, Muhammad Ali and Al Blue Lewis, and I don't think there's any necessity for me to identify Muhammad Ali, because if you don't know him, you must have been living in a cave. And now here goes the Muhammad Ali show. He's walked around in Dublin rather like a Pied Piper. The crowds and kids have followed him everywhere and just almost worshipped the man. And here's this happening now, really giving them some sparkle. I think he's taken a couple of Lewis's best shots and figures, I've got to get in, but he's not getting it his own way at all. And this fellow can cave a few ribs in, but he's calling him on again. This is exactly what he did with Jerry Quarry. But whether he can break Lewis up as quickly as he did Quarry is another thing. What do you know about this? Lewis is entered into the act, and he's doing it. It's tit-for-tat stuff here. Those shots are a bit high with the right hand, catching Lewis on the temple. It'll make him difficult for him to think a bit if he takes too many of those on the top of the head. And hanging onto the ropes there, you're not supposed to do that according to the rules over here. But I think they've parked the rule book at the gates tonight and left it all to Leweskin. And now he's really snarling at him, Muhammad Ali. He's putting his punches together with purpose now. They're trying to sneak these right hands the whole time. They're trying to get cocky with them. Lewis is jabbing with that left hand, pouring with it a bit, like a man who's a bit uncertain of where he's going. I'm surprised he's backing himself onto the ropes like this, Lewis. I mean, he knows he can't get away any farther than that. He's in trouble. as we come up now towards the end of the round. It looks like Muhammad Ali wanted to pin him in his own corner to save the walk home.
Well then, and if you had to score at this stage, no question that Ali is in front, but not by the wide margin that we expected. Al Lewis's last fight was against that rough house, Oscar Bonavina, down in Buenos Aires, and word had it that Lewis was not only doing well, but on his way to defeating Bonavina, but he was disqualified for butting. Well, if you butt Bonavina in Buenos Aires, you've got no chance. Now, Angelo Dundee calling out to Muhammad Ali, give him the shuffle. I think he wants to mesmerize Lewis a little bit. He wants his fighter to turn it on. Certainly it looks as though it's a statue being strapped at the moment. See now that Lewis is rooted to the center of the ring, and this fellow is using this ring, even though it is only about 16 feet square, and the referee having a job to keep out of the way of these big fellows as well. But it doesn't look as though it's had any effect yet on Lewis's legs, and he's willing to throw bombs if he gets the chance. Telling you, this one's for real. If you're as close up here as I am, you can absolutely see those punches sinking into Muhammad Ali's ribs, but he's tucking the elbows in fairly cleverly. And that really banged Lewis off balance. I don't know really whether he was hurt by that. He's certainly got uncertain legs, to say the least, but I wonder whether he just toppled him off balance or hurt him with that one. I wouldn't like to take it to try. You get the feeling of frustration now from Blue Lewis, as though he's saying to Muhammad Ali, stand there, I want to hit you. But he's too smart for that. Ali breaking the force of those punches, tucking his arms inside. And they're calling in Muhammad Ali's corner that Lewis is tired. I wouldn't quite go along with that. I understand that he's not a long-distance fighter.
But Ali's hitting him with his good shots, and he's coming back. And I must say, I didn't hear the bell there either, but the fighters were very obedient about that as they were having that rather hectic exchange there at the end of the round. That's what the old-time fight chroniclers used to call a rather bumper affair.
Yeah, that was some round. Ali gave him an awful beating, and yet at the end there was Blue Lewis coming back, while not quite as strong as ever, still plenty strong.
I don't get the impression from that illusion that the referee is in fact in Ali's corner, and having said that, he's now going over to Ali's corner to check with Angelo Dundee that he probably doesn't want him to put too much grease on the face or to get those gloves really secure. Outside the ropes there, and needed when wanted, is Dr. Ferdy Pacheco from Miami, who deals with any rare... I should think that's the most superfluous job in the business, having to attend cuts for Muhammad Ali. So round 5. And again, this moves by Ali to switch these punches to the body now. He's using the body, hoping the head will fall a bit. Certainly Lewis's legs look a bit uncertain, and I think exaggerated too by this very soft padding under the canvas. But I don't seem to have made much difference to Ali's spring, I must say. I think he's doing that to try and make Lewis drop his guard a bit and then whip that right hand over.
Continually picking his spot there. Just look at this, he's pecking him off. He's done it about a dozen times on the turn, that left hand, and they're really sinking in. They look like taps, but they are not. That's the punch he's looking for. I think he's using that left hand to try and get Lewis to expose the chin a bit. There it is, trying it for size, a downward motion. And Lewis making no attempt to get out of that corner and hanging his chin out a bit like a lantern in a storm there. Now, is Ali going to pile this one up in the 5th round? Well, I must say Lewis certainly looks a durable customer. And a wild swing there from Lewis, caught Ali around the ribs, a little far back. Now that was the punch that he hurt him with in training 2 years ago. And that took just a little blow away from Ali, who was just skating that round until that one landed. And again, these right hands that are getting... Why doesn't Lewis get out of that corner? Yes, he is as well. I hope that he heard me, because it really is ridiculous just to stand there and take them. What a right hand. That was the punch, I think, that Ali was looking for. He teed off with that right hand. He let the left hands go. He softened Al Blue Lewis up. We could almost read that the whole time. There was no question. And he's up at 9. Eskin has only got to 9. That seemed like 19 to me. And the round is over. Or is the fight over? No, the round's over. There's confusion here at the end of the 5th. We couldn't hear the bell, and referee Eskin is checking now with the Irish boxing officials if the bell in fact did sound. Eskin did not take the time, I don't think, from the timekeeper. He went on his own time, and it looked to me like more than 9 seconds.
No, Reg. I think Eskin was right. I think Lewis was up at 9, and then the bell rang. I think Eskin called it correctly.
I'm sure the referee knew what he was doing. It's just that he seemed down so long, Bob, that I thought it had to be over. It looked like he was never going to make it. Well, this is not replay. This really is a live 6th round now. And that's a question there where the bell did not save Al Lewis. It's the rarity these days. The referee counted to 9. The bell went, and he stopped the fight and let us start again in the 6th round. And that is exactly what we saw with Ali, softening up Lewis with that left hand and looking for that right hand shot to knock him over. There it is again, trying it for size. I doubt whether he can let him go this round, because it's probably a blow to his pride if Lewis survives this one. It looked as if he was down there for 2 weeks. It really did. And again, the knees buckling there. The right hand did it. That punch went right to Lewis's chin and through to his boots. And now he's putting the combinations together. Clusters of punches the whole time. And it looks as though Lewis must take a chance to throw the right hands. He must try and keep Ali off. It's a good job those ropes are there. I really think they are keeping Lewis up. It looks as though Ali can take him now more or less when he wants to, but he wants to do it very professionally and execute that right hand punch. No, that's not the way to do it. That was too short, but the left hook softened him up a bit more. Well, Lewis came in thinking that he could really pull off a surprise here, but they all say this, all except with the exception of Joe Frazier, the official heavyweight champion. This is his 39th professional fight, Muhammad Ali. He lost only one, of course, to Frazier, and the return we hope coming up. And this loose bandage on Ali's left hand waving about there. I hope that the referee takes note of that and just pulls it away. It's a bit disconcerting. And that was the best right hand of that round. He caught Lewis flush with that. Half a minute in this round. And this loose bandage is exactly the same thing that happened in the Quarry fight. And Lewis is coming back now. He's teeing off and fighting back. Well, what do you know about this? And they're really in Lewis's corner for their man to go after him. And it's all over in the 6th round. That's the end of the round. And, of course, the referee making sure that that bandage is pulled away. Well, I must say, full marks there to Al Lewis. He took Ali's best shots there, Bob, and I was surprised, really, that he stayed the round after really literally coming off the floor there and getting the rosin dust on his back at the end of the 5th.
Let's give the credit to Lewis where it's well merited. I mean, this is a man of tremendous courage. He was knocked down, as you say, at the end of the last round, and then he came back. He was dead on his feet, and he just kept coming.
Well, they're working hard there in Lewis's corner now, telling him that it's not entirely a lost cause. Don Elbaum has been around the game outside the ring there, and inside Luther Burgess, a former fighter. And the man who discovered him, Steve Eisner, who's a drive-in movie owner from Phoenix, Arizona. So the 7th round, scheduled, of course, for 12. So Lewis obviously wasn't quite the fall guy that Ali thought he was before the fight, but if he sold him a bit short, he's in trouble. So there's no question that we remember this fight as the man who was saved by the bell, which you don't see very rarely in modern boxing. And there again, they're really breaking up. His legs are unhinging. The right hand, it was a bit high, that one, but now he's using the variety of punches. The left hooks are coming in and jabbing away to the stomach there. And all Lewis is trying to do now is that wing and a prayer stuff, hoping that he can just catch Ali as he comes in. A little bit carelessly, perhaps, but no, he's tucking that chin down, protecting himself the whole time. This fella is a very super boxer. You get the feeling is that you want to say to Lewis, well, at least throw a dozen punches all at once and see what happens, but he puts them just one at a time. He almost sends a stamp with each one. And this is a no-hit at this stage. No, they're back in again. And he keeps chopping that right hand down. That's what he called his karate blow. That was the punch that caught Sonny Liston up at Lewiston, Maine. That short overarm punch that shoots over the opponent's left hand. And it certainly must carry some weight. There it is again. He really is trying it for sides. It's as though he can hear me saying this. And Lewis really trapped in the corner there. What a courageous man this Lewis is. He's taken Ali's best shots, and he really has let his best punches go here. No fooling around at all. He's making a hard job of maintaining constant pressure. Now he has Lewis pinned in Lewis's own corner, and Lewis's seconds really screaming there. Let some punches go, and he's responding to that. So there's these broad shoulders of Ali. in full flight, and a left hook there that really rocked Lewis just above me. It's about 3 feet away from here. And again the bell then. So we're into the 8th round then. And it's just a question now whether this strong man Lewis can be broken up. I think probably there's a sign of frustration with Ali now. The referee Eskin kept well away from him, let him get on with the fight. He's only been needed really on the knockdown and just once on a low blow from Ali. You know, Ali puts these punches together maybe half a dozen at the time, and then suddenly Lewis will let one go, as he did then, but that was just cuffing past Ali's face, actually. I get the message that Lewis is not the kind of guy you'd want to fight in a dugout. Getting a bit right-hand happy now, Ali. One after the other. There it is again, and as Lewis walks into him, the momentum is even greater. You think perhaps Lewis might start walking to his own right hand to avoid Ali's right hand, but he's staying static right in front of him and taking the punches. This fellow's got a lot of pride. Well, it looks to me as though Al Lewis is earning that $25,000 the hard way, but he's in there a real professional to the core. No quittance with him. I think probably Lewis can't really understand why he can't land a punch really right on the point of Ali's jaw. And hanging on to the ropes there. It's absolutely amazing, really, because Ali just doesn't know what to do with him. He's throwing his best shots, he's landing them all, and nothing is happening. I think he'll have to speak to him rather severely if this keeps up. And what do you know, Lewis is coming back again. I wonder if there's any possibility of Ali being shot. No, I wouldn't have thought so. So that's the mouthpiece, or as they're called in Britain, the gum shield, just being poked into Lewis's mouth there as we come up for round 9, scheduled for 12. And in case you've just joined us, it's Muhammad Ali and Al Blue Lewis, and Lewis was on the floor at the end of the 5th round, looked as though he was out for the world, and then the bell went and he was hauled back, and I must say he's been putting up, as we might say in Britain, a very stern show. Those fighters now sweating rather profusely in this rather cool night at Croke Park in Dublin. And now this peekaboo stuff, you don't often see Muhammad Ali do that, and he'll certainly get it with his next opponent, Floyd Patterson, and that takes place at Madison Square Garden. I'm wondering whether now Lewis, despite taking that punishment, has started to fight himself into a bit of shape. Because certainly everything Ali throws at him, he totally ignores and tries his right hand. He's copying the Ali stuff now. I think that's what's called taking a bit of a liberty. Well, there you go. Lewis is standing there literally toe-to-toe. There's just an inch in it there with these heavyweights. And it looks as though Ali's having a lot of trouble setting him up for that final payoff punch if it can come over. And it's not so certain that it will, because Lewis still having a go. And this is Ali now turning it on in all his glory. He's really looking the part now, but full marks to Lewis. He's punch swapping, but the right hand there on that chin. And the ropes are really holding Lewis up, but he's fighting back again. He's using them as a springboard. What punishment this man's taken, and coming back. This will surprise Ali. He hasn't had an opponent do this, I don't think, since Joe Frazier. And that's the most punches you'll see landed on Ali for a long time. And that real glare there with Ali, it looks as though he's really upset the way this fella's coming back. And what a round that was. Well, this is now round 10, and I think it's the man who can impose his will stronger on the other at this stage, a survival of the fittest and of the big hearts and the big punch. Remember, before the Quarry fight, Ali couldn't put Mac Foster or George Chuvalo away, but he is trying like mad with this one. I don't often see a fighter use the corners and ropes the way Lewis does. I don't think he's seeking a respite there. I really feel that they're handy for him. He has more chance of standing up. And Ali teeing off now with left hooks. And it looks as though the sap really is running out of Lewis's legs, but how can you tell? He suddenly pulls himself together. I feel as though there's a gate in those ropes that Lewis might open them and get out at this stage. But this round definitely is all Ali, and he's picking every punch and making them count. He's trying to break this fellow up for sure this round. But as Bob said, he's a little bit punched out. There's no question there after that minute of action there. He just needs the breather the whole time. What an amazing man, Lewis. You get the feeling as though Lewis is saying, okay, let everything go at me. When you've done it, I'll come back at you. But unfortunately, Ali does not give him enough respite. And these legs really are unhinging the whole time on Lewis. They're just almost disobedient. And his right eye is swelling Lewis a bit in this round, round 10. And they're yelling in Blue Lewis's corner, try the right. I should think he could try anything that's going. But as he went into that one, Ali timed it pretty well, and that was a hard shot. That's the first time Lewis has really backed off, and as though it was a sort of token of surrender, but only for a few seconds. And I think that bell must have sounded like an orchestra to Blue Lewis.
Greg, let's say something about Muhammad Ali. What a fantastic athlete that man is. He was punched out, or at least it appeared to me, punched out after the last round, and he came back almost as fresh as he was before. This man is really something. He summons from the depths of his being an adrenaline, a power that rises to...
...of myself, Bob. Just to recap there, then, this is the 39th fight for Muhammad Ali. and the 31st for this man, Al Blue Lewis, covered with this posse of seconds, really working hard. Luther Burgess, Don Elbaum, Steve Eisner. As we come up for the 11th round. So round 11, and as Bob was saying, the way that Ali pulled himself together there, he's back up on his toes again. 30 years old now, but what a fantastic athlete he still is. He was out doing some road running only a few hours before the fight. I saw him on the golf course in his tracksuit. He was jogging away there. What a fantastic man he is. Suffering a little bit from a head cold, but I think he sweated that out during the fight. But I must say, don't get any ideas that he has carried Lewis at all. He has let the best punches go right from the start. Lewis fighting all the time with his mouth open there, which is a bad thing. If he gets caught there, he could get his jaw broken, I would have thought. But with that huge mouthpiece in, he's got some chance of it bouncing off a bit. And now probably Ali feels that some of that danger must have passed because he's back, what you may call the old Muhammad Ali, sprinkling away there, really giving them the business. And it looks as though Eskin feels that that's enough. He's not going to allow Muhammad Ali to toy with Blue Lewis, but he's had the professional pride of finishing this fight on his feet in the 11th round. And I think the fantastic performance by Muhammad Ali and a great performance of courage by Blue Lewis. And Muhammad Ali is being lifted on his shoulders there. You haven't seen that before.